may be in the end game now, guys. We might be in the end game. So J. Cole and Drake have now started their It's All a Blur tour, seemingly kicking off the fall off era for J. Cole. First of all, the merch stands are seemingly kind of promoting the roadmap that J. Cole tweeted out almost 3 years ago now, before the off-season came out, that showed features, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, off-season, It's a Boy and the Fall Off. That same image is now being printed on t-shirts and sold as merch, and also there's like a lot of basketball jerseys with like number 11, the boy on it. I don't know if that's in relation to Drake kind of merch, or if that's the It's a Boy kind of thing going on with that merch. But new merch for J. Cole, and it's just interesting that he's chosen that design, because he's obviously keeping in mind that people remember that image, and we kind of know his roadmap, and he's been very clear with his roadmap. He's definitely stuck to the features. He's been gone on an incredible features run. So very interesting choice. I think this is kind of soft confirming we're kind of getting into the fall off era of his career now. Next, Drake seemingly confirms at their first show that he's heard new music from Cole. The album I don't think they've confirmed which album, but he said it's a classic. Now, this obviously brings us on to what is this next album, as we know the roadmap did show It's a Boy, but I don't know. I don't think It's a Boy has been made very clear of what it is, and this is why I'm still a bit skeptical at the moment. For me personally, man, I would love It's a Boy to be like at least an album or an EP, but we have to kind of look at the wider scope of things, of how things are at the moment, and remember that Cole has only confirmed that the Fall Off is an album. He hasn't actually come out and said It's a Boy is coming out before that and what it is. I've been kind of thinking, right, what if It's a Boy is a documentary, like, or a film? It could be an EP, it could be a collab tape, but what if it isn't anything to do with music, and it's like a film, and it's something he wanted to get out before the Fall Off, as he's gone on like multiple kind of interviews and podcasts and kind of spoken about this last stretch of his career being something he wants to do, as in like do a lot of things he didn't do, collab with artists he didn't do. So he has kind of kept, you know, other forms of media outside of that, but it makes me wonder, maybe this is just like a curveball. That being said, if It's a Boy is an album, I definitely think this will be the album where J. Cole delivers on kind of giving us a lot of tunes with artists we've wanted him to work with for a while. So I could see It's a Boy being less of a concept album and more just an album that is got features, you know, probably got a Drake song on there, probably will Kendrick, probably one with all of Dreamville on it, like a massive posse cut with Jid, Earth Gang, everyone. I reckon that would be on there. And probably just work with a lot of artists that, you know, he still probably hasn't worked with, and use that as like the tape for him to kind of just get out more music. That's probably what I would expect It's a Boy to be. If we were also to judge by the title, It's a Boy could also be some sort of concept album about his kids. I do know he has 2 kids, but I don't know if they're both boys, so I should have fact checked that before. In terms of what I'm expecting out of this, I think this will, if It's a Boy is going to be an album or an EP, it's still going to be more of a holdover album. I think J. Cole's in this leg of his career where he's really trying to gear himself up and make him the best possible rapper he can be for the Fall Off. Like, it's very clear, like, this Fall Off album is like the soft end of his career. It's almost like his Black album. Like, I don't think J. Cole will ever retire fully from music, as we've also seen with artists like Logic that say they want to retire, but 4 years later he's still got more stuff coming on. We'll talk about that another time. But more on what Cole's actually spoken about for this album, he mentioned on the podcast with Lil Yachty that he is actually still working on it, but he's not really prepared to talk about it. So he's obviously still working on it, and that's pretty much it. He's kept it very hush hush, like no official statements other than this is probably going to be a concept album. Now, in terms of what I'm expecting from the Fall Off as opposed to It's a Boy, I think it is going to be a concept album. I think it's going to, again, probably be focused around him, as most of his albums do, although I do think he's probably going to be touching on just the art of falling off, probably reminiscing about how hip-hop's changed over the years, where he kind of stands in this. He's probably going to talk about the future generations, probably pass the torch on to Jid and Dreamville. Yeah, I think that the fall off is going to deliver. He has now probably realized with all this features he's been doing that he needs to get on other people's beats, man. He needs to get on other people's beats. I think that was the one thing holding Cole back. I think he even spoke about how comfortable he kind of got. I think he definitely did kind of find his flow, his formula, and a lot of people criticized him for that, saying he sounded too sleepy, too kind of, you know, monotone. But I feel like whenever he's jumped on other people's tracks, he's come alive. He sounds like he's being forced to come up with new flows. And J. Cole in 2023 and 2024 is not J. Cole from 2010. I'm gonna be real. And especially if you would have told me that Cole would have been probably one of the best, if not the best, modern hip-hop artist, feature artists, I wouldn't believe you, because back in 2016 Cole wasn't even doing features like that. Cole was the guy that didn't do features. Like, exciting times. I'm expecting new producers. I think he'll probably still work with Timbaland, T-Minus. I'd love to see him work with Alchemist, but I do think the fall off is going to have a varied amount of production. I don't think it's going to be super one note. I don't think it's going to sound quote unquote like a J. Cole album, because I feel like from the off season till now, he's been on so many different styles of beats that I think he's also probably taken to. Take 90 Proof, for example, with Smino. I wouldn't have heard that beat and thought that is a J. Cole beat, he needs to be on this, but he fit on it really well and he found a great pocket. So it'll be interesting to see the different styles of production he goes on for this. Yeah, man, it's gonna be wild. I think also, if anything, he'll use It's a Boy to kind of get the feature run keep going, getting more artists collaborating in, and then the fall off may be a solo studio album. Will go one way. It will either be no features again, or he'll get more people on. But I think he's also expressed his irritation with people saying like he doesn't need features type of thing. I think that was less of an arrogance thing and just how he prefers to work. But I think now he's found a new workflow and he's actually enjoyed collabing. So yeah, definitely more Drake. I think we're finally gonna get a Kendrick song, or another Kendrick song, with them both having verses on there. And I think anyone that we've been hoping for in the past, I think we might get it. I'm hoping as well, maybe Tyler. I wonder what Tyler Cole would sound like, you know, like just different artists. I mean, he still wants the song with one Young Boy, so maybe we get the YB track on It's a Boy. But that's all we know about the fall off for now. Fingers crossed that by the end of this It's a Blur tour, we get more news and maybe he drops It's a Boy. Best case scenarios, we get It's a Boy this year, and then next year we get the fall off, or we get both in 1 year, but we'll see. But that's about it. If you want to hear more news on hip hop and all that music discussion, be sure to subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
I see 5 vibes, now that's 5 bodies. We just skirted off, now that's 5 miles. I just pushed the button, it's another pilot. Fuck the club, bitch, I'm trying to start a fucking riot.